you guys didn't know, on April 21st, 4/21, 2020, Destiny and the economist, Marxist economist professor Richard Wolff had a debate hosted by none other than the Serfs. I'm a big fan of the Serfs, love Lance, and really is something else. This debate, it was, the whole logic bro, debate bro tactics that Destiny is known for. I always want to bring things back to first principles, right? Can you define that? How do you define that? He was trying to use Twitch debate bro tactics on what exactly? On a professor, on a college professor, an author, a lecturer of Marxist economics. Okay. And, they went back and forth and, Richard Wolff was clear and very explanative, explained very clearly what he was talking about. And, Destiny, which, okay, sorry, I'm going to call him Steve. The guy's name is Steve. He's a Steve, okay? Steven Bonnell, Stephen Kenneth Bonnell III, I think is his name. Evil Yoda's here. Good evening, Yoda. You're just in time. We already talked about Glenn Greenwald. You're going to have to back it up and watch that later. Or just wait for the clip. Remember, guys, I clip all these episodes. The sections, I release them again during the week. If you really liked that one thing I said that one time about that thing, you could share it again in a clip when it comes out later. Woke Pat Robertson was a lot of fun last week. So was the Jordan Peterson Red Lobster saga as we went through. Please like the stream, all those other things. But anytime you see a video come up, even if please watch it. Please watch it all the way to the end. Help the algorithm. But also you could like it, whatever. Anyway. So Destiny, tried to use these debate bro tactics. He tried to, he really thought that asking a guy to define something, asking a college professor to define something was a winning debate tactic. And then just going, I don't understand. What I don't understand, to pun intended, is how there are the number of people who think Destiny knows what he's talking about, when the guy literally spent most of the debate saying, I don't understand. And just so you know, a Ben Shapiro impression and a Destiny impression aren't really that far off apart. Let's see. H word. I really like that more recent lecture by the good professor. I mean, who wouldn't want a one-on-one office hours with Professor Wolff? Lucky Destiny. Steve is a joke. Steve is a Chud Light. Waiting for Ben Burgess to show the Wolff Destiny debate. I would love to be there for that. But let me get my little thing. Let me get my little thingamajig ready, and let's watch. There's one clip that I really enjoyed, and it came after just so much annoying shit where like Richard Wolff explained again and again. What he was talking about. And, really, I just think that Destiny is playing this obstinate kind of part. It's a tactic. Like, I don't understand. Well, maybe you should listen. Maybe you should pay attention. What are you playing Minecraft over there? Like, why don't you fucking figure it out? And that's the other thing. This is guy's he's just a video gamer. I got nothing against video games or playing or gaming or anything at all. But it's like, if you want to be serious, sit in the big boy chair and talk politics and all of this, try to sit. You have to be able to sit with a multifaceted explanation and definition. You should be able to sit with a historical explanation and comparison of things. But not so much with the Destiny guy, with Steven. So let's hear this. Steven Destiny gets schooled by Wolff, Richard Wolff. So this is quite well into the debate, but let's just hear this part.
separate out one group of workers with high pay from others. That's a hustle. That would be a hustle.
I agree.
You're asserting that about Mondragon is just, that's make believe.
Do
I
you
guess
acknowledge
your argument is so difficult that you have to make up the information to support it. Too bad.
My argument is
So they had been talking about Mondragon, the Spanish worker-owned co-op, massive corporation. It's like the 8th largest corporation in the world. And this is kind of what Destiny does, guys. He learns just enough about a thing to where he thinks he can just like talk it down. Like, didn't know jack shit about Bolivia and the coup there against Morales, but thinks he learns just enough to go like, yeah, well, Morales, he had term limits, and then the guy who didn't obey by the term limits, like, oh, that's a coup now. Yeah, it was actually a violent coup, Steven. And, and then after the Socialist Party took power again, and the new, the Morales ally took power, there were literally like the right was murdered a labor organizer and attacked people. So it's kind of a coup, buddy. But anyway, this is his tactic. He learns just enough so he thinks he can clown on something. You can see Lance is smiling, very pleased. He's very pleased that finally that somebody called him on his bullshit about Mondragon. But here we go.
So concrete that I don't think I've had to bring up feudalism a single time to make any of my points or ask you.
So, Destiny kept asking him about, how do you define capitalism? How do you define capitalism? And he, Wolff was very clear to lay out a Marxist position, which is capitalism is not defined solely by markets or by private investment. Like, we had markets and private investment, we had markets under feudalism, we had private investment, under feudalism and other systems. What characterizes capitalism is the wage worker, the boss and wage worker relationship. He made that clear, and he only brought up, feudalism to illustrate that capitalism, that markets are not unique to capitalism. But listen to this.
That would make your analysis
a single time to make any.
Too bad.
My argument is so concrete that I don't think I've had to bring up feudalism a single time to make any of my points or ask you any questions.
That would make your analysis a little richer than it is.
No, I love that from Wolff. Look at the smile on his face. Destiny goes, I didn't have to bring up feudalism a single time to explain anything. And Wolff says, well, that's too bad. It would have made your analysis much richer, wouldn't it? Hilarious.
Something I'm curious about. Why wouldn't you consider, just going by the incredibly generous definition you give me on point one of socialism, why wouldn't you consider the Democratic Party in the United States a socialist party? As a party that wants to see more stuff returned to Americans, wants to see people with a greater control of the workplace, had members that were pushing for 20% ownership in the share of companies, Bernie Sanders at AOC. Why wouldn't you consider the Democratic Party in the United States a socialist party?
Because it opposes almost everything you just mentioned. It has a small wing now that is in favor of it, who, by the way, call themselves socialists. But the establishment of the Democratic Party, its history over the last 100 years, since Franklin Roosevelt.
That's not fair. Why would you talk about the history of it? That's not relevant.
Wait, here it comes, guys. Here it comes.
Because history is always present with us.
Absolutely not relevant. You said yourself that the way that we look at socialism today is relevant.
So, first Destiny bitches about him bringing up feudalism, which is historical analysis, and now this.
That's not relevant.
Because history is always present with us.
Absolutely not relevant.
History is absolutely not relevant. Why are you gonna? Don't leave, Andrew. Don't leave. Let's see. H-word. He did that with the TTP in his debate turned conversation with Michael Brooks. One night of reading and tried to find a single point to logic his way around reality. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. This is how a video gamer thinks you talk politics. Okay. I'm sorry, but like I know people who are like were. And this is the thing, like I am very, skeptical of this, a good section of this younger generation. I'm a kind of an early batch millennial. I have a living memory of 9/11. I'm not sure Steven, how old is, Steven Bonnell, Destiny fucking guy. How old? I can't believe I'm doing this. Destiny streamer. God, why? He's 32. Oh my God, we're the same fucking age. We're literally the same age. He's less than a month. He's 1 day shy of a month older than me. Okay, then. Okay. This. I'm skeptical of a lot of people. There are a lot of people in my generation who are guilty of this, but I find it more in folks who are a bit younger, guys especially. Is your primary source of socialization was video games. Okay. Primary source of socialization, video games. I played a lot of video games growing up. I love video games. Don't get me wrong. Maybe one day I'll do a video game stream. But, like my main socialization as I got older was playing music, talking about politics and I was also in film and video production and like having creative engagements with people and talking about things in complicated ways, like whether it's logistics and video production or music theory, having a more collaborative environment. Video games, the whole point is just to win, to button mash your way past the other guy, and that really informs his kind of style of debating. He thinks he can put in a cheat code or find the secret key, and then bada bing, bada boom, he wins. So Mandy in the comments, feeling old, Joe. Yeah, I'm kind of old. But just this idea that history is absolutely not relevant to a political discussion. The idea that later he goes, you couldn't even define socialism when Wolff gave him three very, distinct definitions, as if that doesn't make sense to political theory, as if that's not something you would do in an academic setting. Right. And then again, trying to negate the history of the Democrat. Why does the history of the Democratic Party matter? This is just like Republicans go, the Democrats are the real racists because they were the pro-slavery party in the Civil War. Yeah, well, maybe a fuck ton of things have happened since then, guy. You think that doesn't matter?
You said yourself
since Franklin Roosevelt.
That's not fair. Why would we talk about the history of it?
Why would we talk about the history?
That's not relevant.
Because history is always present with us.
Absolutely not relevant. You said yourself that the history. No, you said yourself.
The history is absolutely not relevant. So, this reminded me of a discussion between one's Sam Harris and Ezra Klein, and a quote from Sam Harris in that discussion is the title heading of one of the chapter about Sam Harris in Michael Brooks's book Against the Web, and I believe it might be something like the history is entirely irrelevant, and it's because that is something that Sam Harris said. I could be misquoting, but it's the history is irrelevant argument that it doesn't matter what the history is. I want to have a debate on only in this platonic plane of ideas where ideas, this is some Dave Rubin shit, that all that matters is ideas and not the material realities, not the historical realities, not the antecedent factors that led to what we're looking at now. And so I thought that was hilarious that he was, Steven Bonnell, whatever the fuck his name is, he mirrored, he quoted Sam Harris. He stole, he plagiarized. No, I'm just kidding. He went on some Sam Harris shit. And so I tweeted. I said, Destiny just went full Sam Harris with the history is irrelevant defense. And, laughy emoji, that's what you do. That's what the kids are doing these days, is the emojis. And let's hold on. Sorry, guys. And so let me just move it over here to we're a little more comfortable. Oh, that's my video filter thing I like to use. But so Destiny just went full Sam Harris with the history is irrelevant defense. And guys, this might be my mostest everest tweet of all time. It was literally, thank you, Drew, for retweeting it, by the way. I think that was today. And I got 23 retweets, 375 likes. this is my most engaged with tweet, I believe. And part of it, I owe it, I know, to the great, fantastic, magnanimous, beautiful, wonderful, suave, satin-voiced Matt Leck of, super producer for the Majority Report, but really host of Left Reckoning, a fantastic show, which you all should watch, which I, hang on every word. Griscom and Leck are fantastic. Probably the only two closest, to Michael Brooks, who could carry the torch that Michael kind of shone on the world. And so Matt Leck retweeted my tweet. I'm very grateful for that. And he said, Destiny is an accomplished pedant who appeals to liberals as Ben Shapiro appeals to reactionaries. It's why their impressions are so different, by the way. And as such, spent his and Richard's time in search of a transcendent definition of socialism, external to history. The idea that there would be a transcendent definition of socialism external to history is Looney Tunes. It makes no sense whatsoever. So obviously Matt Leck was was watching the debate, and he kind of starts live tweeting off of this. It became a thread. Jeff Bezos is worth $200 billion because of his skills. LOL, which is something Destiny was saying. He's the best at being like the whatever, the CEO of Amazon. Matt Leck, isn't it amazingly lucky that the entirety of the Walton family is so, quote, skilled at executive decision making? So many of the first presidents were from Virginia because they were most skilled at doing the Enlightenment there. Oh my God. Let's see. Yeah, so just very funny. Matt Leck just absolutely burning Destiny. But I got a bunch of quote tweets. And also just a ton of argument and engagement in the comments. Rob Weber, he's good. He's the guy, 2020, the dumpster fire. He also kind of, outed Jimmy Dore as being a hack, just totally... unresearching, untalented hack. Look to my past videos for some of that. Let's see. So, yeah, the Comrade Fox, that part killed me when he said history is irrelevant. Is it Ryan Cole, LA, non-dad defiant, said, is it funny to anyone else that someone who refers to himself as Destiny thinks history is irrelevant? This person, his head is so far up his own ass he wouldn't realize any connection to anything. Oh yes, Destiny is basically Sam Harris without the meditation and different bigotries. Yeah, it's a type of a liberal logic bro that I'm glad that I got pulled away from that world before it was too late. Now this guy really went in for it, this deal with comics. But it says, the whole debate, this is Young Romeo, the whole debate was Destiny asking questions during a private lesson with Professor Wolff. What is socialism, Professor Wolff? How is that definition of socialism different from capitalism, Professor Wolff? LOLOL. Deal with comics. Destiny had his own... I'll do the comic book voice for Deal with Comics. Destiny had his own definitions going in, as he made evident by all of the debate prep and the countless debates he's had on the topic before. His reason for asking was explicitly because of Wolff's tendency to shirk any criticism of socialism as a criticism of only one kind of socialism. Chucky RLA, there isn't a singular definition of socialism or capitalism. It's sophomoric to try to whittle things down to a definition. Just because a country accepts private investment doesn't categorically make it capitalist. His definition was/is idiotic. Deal with comics. It's childish to think we don't need to define the terms when having a debate over the merits of what those words are supposed to describe. The definition of capitalism by most dictionary and economist accounts is a system involving private investment and ownerships. Yeah, we're arguing with the dictionary. Real fucking galaxy brain shit. Quote, just because something is by definition capitalist doesn't mean it's capitalist, capturing Wolff's argument in a tweet. Yeah, I mean, go watch Professor Wolff. Like, he's actually, making a succinct, logical argument based on, many important things. This is great. Like, I love that so many people were just replying with, "Who is Destiny?" Ex-Minecraft streamer. Oh, thank you, Sketchy Guy. Did I follow Sketchy Guy? No, I got it. Got it now. 13 followers. It's okay. We can all grow together. Super Justice Wario. Super Justice Wario is funny. I've followed them for a while. I wish they would follow me back. Why can't we talk about Neanderthal DNA? Oh, that's a Sam Harrisism. That's a classic. He's going into the Sam Harris classic soundboard. Let's see. That comics guy was ever present in this. Oh, and here's some of the cope. Here's some of the copium from Destiny. Let's hear the cope.
History isn't relevant because I didn't like the fact that when he was condemning the history is
Why did I say the history isn't relevant?
Isn't relevant because I didn't like the fact that when he was condemning the actions of the Democratic Party, he wanted to reach back over 100 years and talk about their failures. But when I was trying to get him to tell me what he believed a socialist country was or what socialism was, he was like, well, hold on. I'm not going by Marx's definition. Things are different now. Well, hold on. If things are going to be different now for how you define socialism, which, by the way, that's fair. If you want to use a different definition now, that's fine. But you can't hold the Democratic Party to account for things that another Democratic Party did 100 years ago. I don't think that's fair. I don't think you can do that. You have to be consistent.
I'm sorry, guys. FDR was not 100 years ago. That was 80 years. And really, what FDR did had repercussions 20 years after. 20, 30 years after. Like it was called the New Deal Coalition. Like, I mean, the idea that it's irrelevant is just, it's stupid. It's a stupid, ahistorical, idiotic take.
So if you want to talk about how things are as they are now, that's fine. But if you're
how'd they get to how they are now, Destiny, Steven?
If your definition of socialism is going to be so wide to include private, and this is another thing that history isn't relevant.
You hear like his mom like calling for Steven, are you making ahistorical points again? I got that's an easy thing to say about video gamer. I know the guy has just boatloads of money in his own house, and this is part of what that motivates him to argue this shit, against socialism and try to liberal logic bro his way out of just a simple fucking historical analysis. Jandrew World, Joe, you're blowing up. I did on this tweet. This was like, look at this. I've never had this for a tweet. So I was like, hey, I did the thing. Hey, everybody, I'm a guy. I do things. Please like me. Please follow me. I dropped the story I did. Yeah, guys, I'm actually a journalist. I actually can report stories. I'm not just a fucking dude playing Minecraft thinking I can talk about politics and the world history. Oh, it's easy to not deal with history when you could just deem it all irrelevant. Deem it all irrelevant. Why do I got to talk about history? Wait, these people were going back and forth. Yeah, these Destiny fans are either pretending to be confused or actually confused, which is very strange as I didn't have any issues following Professor Wolff's argument. Yeah, again, Destiny going, I'm confused about it. Dude, fucking listen. He's speaking and playing language. He's not really pulling the fucking 500 level class terminology out. He's walking you through it. Let's see. Let's see, Devin may cry. There is something to be said about Wolff if they all actually didn't understand. But when I asked if this was the case, people get mad because they think you were dunking on them. Hence, we go back to the first, pretending to be confused sometimes. Oh my God. Jack Hugo. I study political philosophy and theory, so maybe they really are confused. I find that hard to believe, though. My guess is they are being disingenuous. Devin, right? A teacher claimed that Wolff was a bad lecturer based off the debate, to which I pointed out this wasn't a lecture, even though Destiny got lectured to. But they were very offended when I asked if they understood it, even though their point was Wolff couldn't explain it. God damn, man. This shit is too funny. This was fun. I mean, let's see. Are there any other gems from this? What I mean.
That the way that we look at socialism today is different than it was 100 years ago.
Joseph Biden is a product of that history, as he himself says. That party has been unable to make a government. They couldn't even preserve the level of government intervention that was achieved in the 1930s. The last 70 years have been a rollback of the New Deal, an undoing of it, and that was done as much by the Democratic Party as the Republicans.
Thank you, Professor Wolff. I call it the Great Dismantling. Is what I like to call it.
The Republicans pushed harder. The Democrats could not only not advance on what was achieved in the 1930s, they couldn't even preserve it. That's why we have an unemployment problem now and have had a terrible experience.
I think we have an unemployment. No, absolutely
not.
Not
a single major
unemployment problem.
Politician proposed a jobs program of the federal government the way it worked so well in the 1930s. You couldn't even have the courage to come up with what was already done. It's been a retreat. The Democratic Party has been a retreat from what it did before. All that AOC and Bernie are trying to do is to bring back the little bit of socialism that the last 75 years of the Democratic Party have been devoted to getting rid of.
Exactly. They're just trying to bring back what little we had. I mean I think that's a fair thing. If you want to lob an actual good faith criticism at the squad, it's like, that they are. I mean, the Green New Deal, they are relying on this old nostalgia for the New Deal rather than being bold and presenting their own thing, if you want to make that criticism. Jay Coleman in the comments, Destiny aka Steve merely converted the gaming interface into politics, and he himself proves the cream doesn't always rise under capitalism. Yeah. If competition is going to be kicking in, I think the competition kicked in here. It was very clear. Mandy Sadowski, the idea is that 10 or 12 Democrats call themselves social democrats doesn't mean the whole party should name change. Evil Yoda, I'm a guy, I do things. Joe Payne, yeah. Hey, I'm a guy, I do things. Yeah. I like to just, I don't like to romanticize what I'm doing. Like you leave it to Glenn Greenwald to lord over people with his work, which is like whistleblowers dumped documents on him and he published them. I'm sorry, but I think Reality Winner, who's stuck in jail right now, did the fucking work more than Glenn. At least she's paying for it, where Glenn Greenwald is reaping the rewards. J. Andrew Worrell, and that's the thing. I don't like lording over people with the fact that I know how to do journalism. That I am a It's reminded me of like Dave Rubin calling himself a classical liberal. I could say I'm a classically trained journalist, but then I would have to go start playing my piano for you guys and bust out my powdered wig.